Hello, I am Ryan O'Dowd and welcome to the Black Hand Communique. Today's subject is one that's been deep on my heart for a few weeks now. And I haven't wanted to talk about it because I don't want to give this guy any extra play, but it seems like he's completely saturated all the media markets, so it's Donald Trump. D-Trump. Dizzy T. This guy, I want to start by saying I really like, but I'm qualifying that because I don't like him for the reason he wants to be like, or for the reason that the Republican Party might want me to like him. I like him because he's a consternating ass and an egotist, and he completely controls all dialogue in the political spectrum right now in the mainstream, and he's just so spectacularly awful that I believe if the Republican Party, put him up, you could basically have anyone against him, and he would just lose in a spectacular landslide. See, I'm not one of those, intellectual left guys who has no faith in the average person. I do think that when the average American looks around the world and thinks about things, they know what makes an effective leader. They have some kind of emotional resonance going on with what a real leader is and what a leader isn't. And Donald Trump is not a leader in any kind of formal sense or any kind of sense where he'd effectively work on someone else's behalf beside his own. He's a con man. He's an old fashioned American huckster, snake oil salesman. It's a long tradition in our country that there are these con men that become prominent in the public eye, selling things, essentially taking advantage of everybody else by lying to them, misleading them, and self-aggrandizement, and beating their chest like a gorilla. And these people last for a while in the public eye, and then the public, later on, oh God, they're just full of shit, and they get rid of them. And I'm really convinced that Donald Trump is way overextending his hand as a public figure. I mean, the man, in my opinion, was not even qualified to be on television, and they put him on there. Okay? And he thinks he could be, run the military-industrial complex of the United States of America, on behalf of somebody else. No, he's full of shit. So anyway, I kind of feel sorry for my Republican friends. And I do have some Republican friends, because I got to keep my eye on you sons of bitches. Because he really is destroying any integrity that this political party may have had or carried with him at one point. I mean, he does not have, the grand vision of a Teddy Roosevelt or an Abraham Lincoln or even a Ronald Reagan for that matter, even though I disagree with almost everything Ronald Reagan did in his presidency. He at least had a vision that he communicated to people in the plain spoken language. Donald Trump has no vision. You got to understand that. What the thing about Donald Trump, he has no policies. Literally, the only thing he is running on is vote me, and hey, build a wall and put my name on it. Those are his two policies: chest pounding and build a wall and put my name on it. He's running as though he's running for the God King of ancient Babylon. Instead of running for the president of the United States of fucking America. And so I love this guy because he's completely commanding the audience of what I consider to be the slightly more detrimental political party in our system that's electable. And so, of course, that brings me a schadenfreude, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, in watching their entire thing go up in flames. And it's really funny because his entire, like I said all his policies is build a wall with my name on it and chest pounding. But all of his tactics politically are personal attacks. He doesn't debate. I mean, it's not even fair. You put him in a debate, it's not even fair to say that he's debating. He never goes after someone's ideas or someone's policies or someone's ideology or philosophy or even their record he doesn't go after. He just attacks them personally. He just insults them as a human being and thinks that that is what it takes to lead. And it doesn't take that to lead. It takes that to steal, to take, to be the head of a criminal enterprise. That's how you run things. But it's not how you lead a nation of people, let alone the United States of America, which, despite my anarchist and libertarian pretensions, is a civilized country for the most part. You can't just rule as a fucking gorilla, okay? But that's what he does. And so he just, and while ruining himself, he accumulates this cadre of Neanderthal, anti-intellectual, misogynistic, self-hating men who can only justify their own existence by beating on and betraying others that are around them that don't look or act like them, women that threaten them, people that look different than them or have different religions than them, because they have no confidence in themselves. They go to the Ooga Booga Gorilla guy just like they're watching a fucking professional wrestling episode. Okay? That's what this fucking guy is doing. He's running it. He's running as Hulk Hogan for president. Except that really does do a disgrace to the great work of the Hulkamaniac and charity. Okay? So Donald Trump, as I said, wall, Ooga Booga beating your chest. Tactics are insults. And the great thing is, what I like is, I ostensibly support Bernie Sanders. I'm not registered as a Democrat. I'm registered as a Green Party member. And I would be proud to vote Green Party, but my state makes it illegal, which is another thing altogether. Nonetheless, I am happy enough as a political pragmatist to be behind Bernie Sanders, because at least he's anti-corporate, doesn't take money. I said all that shit. He's against the banks. But his biggest detriment, quote unquote, according to the power elite, is that he's okay with calling himself a socialist in America, which in my opinion makes him extremely brave for a mainstream candidate, because no American candidate has called themselves a socialist that was running for president probably since Eugene Debs of the Socialist Party got 9% in like 1912 or something like that. Okay? No one does it here because of the whole Cold War thing, which I don't want to get into, but nonetheless we all know that's why. But he goes in and calls himself a socialist. So what does fucking Donald Trump come out? He comes out and he says, he's this socialist / communist. He's giving away everything for free. And Hillary says he got to do everything for free now because she's got to win. And I'm like, this guy is awesome for me, personally for me, and for the country, because in the way that he's choosing to attack Bernie Sanders' socialism, it's all insults. He might as well say, Bernie Sanders is a socialist, kike, atheist, communist. And I'm Donald Trump. Ooga booga booga. Build a wall with my name on it. Money, 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 bitches. For president 2016. That's pretty much what he's running. So the way he's choosing to attack Bernie, while Bernie has pretty much gotten at least a more elevated discourse in the way that he talks about American policies. He talks about class issues, and he talks about philosophy, ideology of politics, and he gets into plain language and what people want. But he doesn't have this. He's aggressive and macho, even Bernie is, but it's in a much more focused and intellectual way. Whereas Donald Trump is a goddamn gorilla. So it's like Donald Trump is. If as I said yesterday's episode, if Bernie Sanders is the avatar of American rage against the establishment economically, Donald Trump is the avatar of the excesses of the establishment itself. If they run Donald Trump, who is a casino owner and a fucking landlord, that's how he makes his legal money, and I'm sure he's making illegal money too, let's be real, who has actually admitted on the fucking podium to bribing politicians in order to get his way. He's been honest about this. If that's who they choose to run, do you know how spectacularly they're going to lose? Because he's living the embodiment of excessive capitalist fucking Wall Street greed. He is the enemy of the American people put into a human being for Bernie Sanders to be put up next to and just point at and just say, look, just look at him. Just watch him. He is I don't have to insult him. He will just sit there being a silverback gorilla, being a horrible, over-the-top, excessive casino capitalist who literally is a capitalist who owns casinos, right? And he's just going to utterly eviscerate the American right. They're going to, after the 2016 election, the American right is going to be torn apart. They're going to have to regroup. They're not even going to know what they're doing. They're going to be fighting among themselves because they allowed this idiot, this gorilla, Donald Trump, to be the potential presidential nominee. It's so stupid. The potential presidential nominee. And quite frankly, I'm loving the spectacle of it, and I can't wait. I can't wait to watch him so brutally lose because the American people know better than that. They do. They know. I'm not saying that they won't vote for a right-winger. I'm not saying that there's not plenty of right wingers and Republicans out there who don't have true ideas and they have a point of view that makes sense intellectually and from their class position, as opposed to my class position and my intellectual reason. But Donald Trump is not he. Donald Trump is Hitler except stupider and without the let's kill all the Jews. But other than that, he's running on anti-immigration, anti-women, anti-other races, insults, skullduggery, the worst examples of thuggery in corporate capitalism. So I love the man because he's terrible and he's going to fucking ruin the right wing. That's my analysis of Donald Trump. I'm Ryan O'Dowd, and this is the Black Hand Communique saying, fuck you, Banks.